What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Spyro 4. If you haven't been on the internet today, you might have missed it. I opened up Twitter, later on in the day, and I see everybody's talking about this Spyro 4, and it comes from Canadian guy A, who pretty much just dropped the scoop. And to boil it down right into its simplest form, there's really kind of three parts to it, right? Number one, the game is in development. Number two, the game is being made by Toys for Bob. And number three, that this game started development in January of this year. So just 2 months ago, so 2024. And those are pretty much the biggest things, right? He talks about in the video that he's been in conversations with numerous people for a very, very long time. And things kind of came together over the last little while. Now, he says it as a definitive fact, right? It does depend on, I guess, your trust level of him. But if there's anything that I would trust the Canadian guy A knows about or has inside, or talks to people that are basically inside the situation, would be anything Crash Bandicoot, would be anything Spyro, right? So you can absolutely take it with a grain of salt, and maybe it's best to do that, right? Because you never know. But I feel like he wouldn't do something like this if it wasn't true. Otherwise, that kind of ends it for him and his credibility, right? I believe it, and I believe that it did just start a few months ago, and what that means, well, I think it's quite obvious actually what it means, is that we're not getting it for an extremely long time. But I think the signs and like their language right over the last little while, and some kind of signs that they've done, whether it's been said or whether it's in videos, right? You can go back to even when Crash Team Rumble was coming out or when it just came out, and they were talking about Spyro quite glowingly. And you could say maybe it's because they were putting him into Crash Team Rumble, but I think the idea to make a Spyro game has been in their heads for a very long time. Somewhat disappointing that it just started 2 months ago, but I imagine the split with Xbox kind of needed to happen. Maybe, it's actually kind of weird though, because you split from them and then you almost negotiate your own deal, which maybe that's why they wanted it, right? Split from them so you can focus on what you want to focus on. You choose if you want to do Spyro or do whatever. You go back to Microsoft or Xbox and you say, okay, let's work out a deal so we can do a Spyro game, right? I think they're exactly where they need to be in developing the game that they deserve to and that they need to, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's not too much more to say, honestly. Like, the biggest thing to me is it's the right team for it. It's the right time for it. Actually, it should have been a little while ago, not even just right now. But all that stuff is okay. The biggest thing besides that would be when it started development and just how long. It doesn't have to take forever, but Toys for Bob is not the most gigantic team in the world, right? Especially, they laid off a good portion of their people. So I imagine, years. I would say probably at least a year or two before you even get an official tease from them that it's Spyro. And then, in terms of a trailer, in terms of the game coming out, I think you're talking about trailer maybe 2.5 years, game coming out 3+ years away, right? So honestly, it could be like a PS6 and Xbox Series, whatever they're going to call it, the next generation. It could come out on those platforms for all we know, and how long it takes to make a game. But again, if it is true, it is fantastic. Spyro fans, myself included, we have a bit longer to wait, and probably longer than we wanted to, right? But if it is true, at the end of the tunnel is a pretty strong light, and one that I think is going to make us pretty happy, right? So we'll keep an eye on it, and I think we'll have years to talk about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.